It's goos and liquids.
Goos and liquids.
Now, I'd also like to add to this, goos and liquids. What's your thoughts? Are they a pro? Are they a con? Do they work? Do they not?
What's the benefits?
And what's the benefits? So I'm an avid user in using the quarter round carb goos. I am a massive fan of them. I'd like to say I've got most of the collection.
Yeah.
And
I personally used the mainline one they did. I think it was a cell one they did. It was a liquid.
Mainline Smart Liquid, is that you're on about, yeah?
Yes. And I've used also the No Name goo.
Yes, what a goo that is. As you can see, we've got that. We've got that showing.
Absolutely banging goo that is.
I'm a user, obviously, of the paint company that I'm with this same sort of style.
Yeah.
But I'm also an old user of the isotonic goo.
And what's your thoughts on that, Wayne? Do they work?
The isotonic, mate, blew any water up. I'm telling you, the isotonic was absolutely incredible.
There's some also big anglers who are using that as well, who would say the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard so much about the isotonic. But I also used to use the almond a lot as well, and I found the almond. It depends on which one you add. Because obviously you've got the difference between the smoke and then you've also got the supreme.
We have indeed, yeah.
I used to use a lot of the smoke one more than anything.
Yeah.
I found the smoke just produced me more bites than what the supreme did.
See, when it comes to me using them, my favourite two has to be either the Dragon Smoke or the Moonshine. I can comfortably say when I've used them, I've had a lot more confidence on the bank and I've caught more.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is the cons to them? Would you guys, anyone in the chat would like to come up and talk about it, say their piece?
And people in the chat, we will only have one at a time. But yeah, to be fair, even using my own bake company's one, it all depends on what flavour you've got, to be honest. I mean, I've done well on the bloodworm,
Yeah.
but then I haven't done well on others at the minute.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My most recent that I used was the No Name one.
Yes.
And in my opinion, that gave me a very good edge on the fishing that I was doing. It just really worked for me. It brought my bite ratio up quite a bit as well.
I can comfortably say, a lot of people say it's a gimmick, but I'm a big believer in these goos do the justice they say they do.
Yeah, I believe so myself, yeah.
If anyone from the comments would like to come up and join in, just let us know and I'll get you in.
Well, see, my opinion on it is if you've got something in the water that's just sitting there and it's not really letting off an aroma, like the boilie, they smell good in your hand and stuff like that. But the moment you put that little bit of goo on it, or glug or anything like that, something that's going to disperse in the water and float about, to me, it's giving it an edge.
See, what I'm a big fan of the Corda Kiana goos as well. Well, they say Corda goo, they're owned by Corda, but Danny Fairbrass, but they're called Kiana. They're made by a brand called Kiana, and they call them the carp goos.
Yeah.
I have a vast majority of wafters and pop-ups that are just a plain flavour, and I soak them. I've got some been soaking for like 2 years now, and they're now an oozing pop-up or wafter.
Camo, if you want to jump in and ask a question, mate, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, everyone's coming request.
Right, I'll get you up, Camo, hang on.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Camo.
Yeah, obviously I'm Camo, but I'm Steve as well. Most people know me. I just wanted to I like using the bait company that Wayne's with as well, Fish It Baits. I like using their mists just because I like the way they react in the water and they send out that coloured, I don't know, like essence or cloud in the water, and they
Yeah.
like smell really good. And because they're quite thin, I believe they work just as well in the summer and like just as good in the winter because they're not like gloopy or thick or anything like some others. But if anybody's got any other opinions on that, like I wanted to know as well.
See,
Yeah, I've used something similar to the mist in the past. It's sticky baits. They do a spray, like krill spray.
yeah.
Yep, yep. I've
Um,
used that.
it's very good. I can, I'll happily spray a couple of PVA sticks of it when I'm putting a bag out, or for like
Yeah,
just that little bit extra attraction. That is a
yeah,
top
yeah,
quality.
yeah.
Top,
I'm, sh-
anything to do with mist really is quality in my eyes. It does the job.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean I
sure
use them all the time.
if I'm right, Papa, you might know this.
Cool.
When with the corner ones, the mist, not the mist, the
Smoke.
Supreme and the Smoke,
Yeah.
one's thicker than the other.
Yes. So the smoke adds like a cloud into the water, where the Supreme is more of like an enhancing liquid, and you can
Yeah.
use it more in like if you're making a bait up like a mix, you can use it more in a mix and solid bags and that. But your smoke is more surely for like your hook baits and that to add that extra little bit of attraction.
Okay.
And if you can, there's plenty of videos online. I'll put one up on the ChitChat Podcast YouTube channel. What in this podcast, the difference, the smoke will travel around the bottom and it'll create a cloud where the Supreme more lays on the ground. And that's more of a scent goo than it is the visual.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But
That was the only question I was wanted to ask about your opinions on the mists and that type of those type of bait enhancements. But yeah, that was all my questions. Is so
right,
I'll
thank you for coming in.
yeah, if you want to remove me or I'll swipe out whatever.
I can do that for you, no worries. And does anyone else have anything else to add on this topic? I see there's a few of you guys talking in the comments about goos. Catherine, would you like to come up?
Yeah, you're talking about the krill spray. I use that myself as well, actually. Very good.
It's very good, yeah. Especially if you've got the krill wafters, spray a bit of that on there. It's a bit more attraction.
That's what I generally
If
do.
any of you do want to come up and ask a question, you are more than welcome to request. We will only get one up at a time, though.
So
Anyone can come up, that's right. Don't be
you don't have
shy.
to give it's just your experience with it, Catherine. So talk about your experience with the liquids and stuff you use. It doesn't have to be the goos we got on the screen. They are just an example.
Even if you've used a different bait company's liquid or mist or
Any goos or any liquid, yeah. Obviously not washing up liquid though, yeah, please.
Yeah, we don't need that on here. But no, if there's anyone that would like to come up. I see someone's in the chat. Will, you're a very knowledgeable guy when it comes to carp fishing. Would you like to come up and...
hold on.
Oh, hang on, we've got someone.
You say about my opinion on goose. Hello, everyone.
Yep.
I use Pandemic for my baits. I think the gloves and the enhancers are amazing. They are really, really good. They do all types of oils and stuff, salmon oil, chili hemp oil and stuff like that. So yeah, we use all their stuff.
Now, I've got a question for that to counter that, Catherine. Would you say your catch rate's gone up since you've been using that?
Oh, since my baits, yeah, through using it. Like when we do our hemp and our particle mix to go out and stuff, we glug it in all Mad Baits products like the Pandemic or chili hemp oil or whatever, and our catch rate has gone well up, hasn't it? So, yeah, that we've caught every time we've been out.
That's great news to hear.
So yeah, that's all I have to say about Goose. But maybe on another question, but I'll jump out now.
Thank you for coming in.
No worries.
There's a guy I know who knows quite a good bit about fishing. If I can get him in, Will, are you available? I'm pretty sure he can answer a good question on this.
You haven't been blocked, Ricky. No.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening, Will.
Even well.
How are we all?
All good, thank
Okay,
you. How are
okay.
you?
Good, thank you.
My views on goos.
And liquids, yeah. Give us your shot.
So I do use them. Especially in solid bags, I use them. A lot of the time, I actually inject salmon oil into the PVA bags,
Yeah.
hemp oil, that kind of thing, just to give it that attraction through the water columns. Sometimes lake dependent. I think maybe too much attraction can turn them off or push them away.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time, yeah, I'm pro with the goos and the liquids to boost your attraction.
Now I'll ask you the same question I asked Catherine. Would you say your catch rate's gone up since using that?
Honestly, yeah, I'd say so.
Have you got any cons to using goo?
The only con I said is obviously some lakes you're too much attraction in the water and it will switch them off or scare them off.
Yeah, that sounds very. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I would say that's very agreeable.
Hold before you go, Will, or anything. If you'd have said no on the catch rate, my question would be: what makes you still use them?
Oh, I didn't say no, but yeah.
No, but if it was only because you hesitated, it's just a.
Yeah, I was
question,
just
that's all.
thinking back to how much I actually use the goos and the liquids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would I still use? I would still use them. I would still use them even if my catch rate wasn't going up because I fish. Obviously, predominantly I fish one lake, but I do obviously go to other lakes around the country, and different lakes obviously react better to different things. I mean, sometimes a krill. A clay fields. I was fishing solid bags and I was using krill goo. But then if I go to bluebells, I might use an almond goo or an isotonic. My little members lake, I use isotonic on there and pineapple.
So I have a question for you, Will.
Go on.
What is your go-to liquid or goo?
Isotonic.
Isotonic.
If I could use one goo for the rest of my time, it'd be isotonic.
Is there a reason why?
It's just powerful. It's good. I've full faith in it. All my wafter baits, yeah, anything yellow is soaked in isotonic.
Really?
Good answer. That's 100% agree with you there.
And it works.
Yeah.
Right, well,
It doesn't have to be yellow. It's just my personal opinion on yellow.
yeah, I do. I am a big avid fan of yellow. I don't do pink, but I'll explain my reasons why I don't do pink later on through the podcast. A few of you already know why.
No problem. Have a good one.
But thank you for coming up. Stick around.
I will do.
As well.
Yes.
Right. I see there's a few new people in the comments. We've just been talking about the pros and cons of goos and liquids, why they're so good, and the pros and cons of it. At the minute, all we've heard is pros. We've not really heard a con. So if anyone else would like to jump up and have their say, now would be the time before we move on.
I'll do 5 minutes more on this topic, then we'll
Clear off to the
shuffle over
next
to
one.
the next one.
That is right.
Yep.
Clear that coming up. Yeah.
Evening, Ricky.
How you
Evening.
doing, chaps?
You all right?
Thank you. How are you?
Thanks for letting me jump in. Just
No
my
worry.
No problem.
Just my 2p worth on goos. It's probably going to go against a lot of people's beliefs, but I absolutely swear by them. I go over the top with them. I absolutely go over the top with them. And the reason I go over the top with them, imagine when you put your bit of pop in your glass and you run it under the tap, how quick that dilutes it. What do you
Yeah.
think that's doing to your goose in billions of gallons of water?
It's diluting it. Yeah, you've got a good point there.
In minutes, it's gone in minutes. Trust me, it's gone in minutes. I've set up trees when I've had my mate put a big PVA bag out, absolutely soaked in glue, and I've watched it just dissolve into nothing. A lot of the time when people use these little bits of goo and it dilutes by the time it hits the bottom, you're sight fishing. You're basically waiting for that fish to swim along and see your bait. My opinion, boys. You know, just through years of experience, I used to sit up trees for hours watching what's going on. But
It's a
me
very valid
personally,
opinion.
I go over the top with my goose, make sure I've got the wind at my back, position myself where I use oil-based goose. I position myself where the slick will go right out into the lake, covering as much water as I can, and it's doubled my catch rate.
Well, thank you for
To be
that.
fair, that's quite a good method actually,
And
and that's
even
quite a good way of explaining it.
yeah, always with the wind in my back, or if I get it going into an island, I'll reposition the rod where the slick is splitting and goes round the island. I hate it. It's pointless fishing goose and slicks when it's just crashing into the bank or going into an island and not splitting because you're just losing it. It's gone. You with me?
Yeah.
I'm with you indeed. That's a very valid point.
But that's my 2 pence, boys.
Right, thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
And
thank you
stick
for that.
around.
You're
There's a
welcome.
few more topics on the way. You might like the other ones.
You'll have to kick me out. I don't know how to end it.
Yeah, I can do that before you. No
Thank
worries.
you.
Right, I believe that 5 minutes up.
Yeah.
I will now move on to the next one.
So some
Listen,
quite good
Bill.
feedback then about that. That was
Some very good
Very
feedback.
positive. Very positive. Made a lot of sense. That.
it did actually with the wind on your back. That one made quite a good sense. You know, letting it disperse into the open. That's
Yeah.
I
But
quite
also
like that.
the point about him saying about it dilutes. Yeah, that's I never thought about that. That's correct.
That is indeed. Right, so next segment, we've got frozen versus shelf life.
And when
Use-
that could be any kind of bait, like any bait company. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Up here just to get viewers' attention. There's no
Thanks,
favoritism.
Ricky.
There's no favoritism, I can assure you.
Josh, you say frozen. Why
You want to
frozen?
come in?
Would you like to come in and
Josh?
explain, Josh, why it's frozen? Catherine says shelf life. See, me personally, I'd go shelf life. It lasts a lot longer. The ingredients they use in shelf life now is pretty much similar to what they use in frozen. And the shelf life just seems a lot more fresher to me, in my opinion, now. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
See, for me personally, if I had somewhere to stock it, it would be frozen. For the sheer fact is I think frozen holds a lot more smells in, because then while it's defrosting, the smells they're still soaking around the boilie. If you get what I mean by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eric, what's your opinion?
Will says the only difference is the egg they use in the frozen and not in shelf life. Yeah, that's a good point. My personal opinion is I'd like to use frozen in the summer. I just find it works for me.
Yeah.
And obviously I use the one bait all year round, so yeah.
And my opinion, why I'm opposed to using frozen, I just feel like it's a lot softer. It's not as firm as shelf life.
Yeah.
You know, it seems to break. I'm fishing a lake where sometimes my rig's got to be out for a minimum of 24 hours before I can even get a fish. And sometimes what I found with frozen, it starts to deteriorate quicker than what a shelf life would do.
Yeah, it does.
So that's why I stick to shelf life, because it seems to last longer for me.
So when would you use a frozen more? Like Eric said,
In my opinion, frozen's just not for me.
yeah.
I've got loads of it, like I've used it, but I'd much more prefer shelf life. It lasts a whole lot longer, and let's be honest, it just smells a lot better in my opinion than what your frozen smells like.
Yeah, yeah.
See, if I used shelf the same as the amount as what I would frozen, or used frozen the same as I would shelf life, I probably would say, like Will just said there, probably would have had the same amount of fish, to be honest with you. I just think at that time of using that frozen boilie, there's a lot of smiles locked into it, where with the shelf life it's made a bit different. I mean, I used to make my own,
Yeah.
and it is made different, and I found my frozen ones that I was making myself, I found they worked better because they were letting off a lot more smell than what the other ones was.
Yeah. Would anyone like to come in the box and give their opinion on shelf life versus frozen? There's a few of you that are speaking a lot of good stuff here. So if you'd like to come up and let the guys who don't listen to the live and catch up on YouTube come in and say your piece.
Yeah, don't be scared to jump in the box.
What Will said, I find shelf life more stodgy, don't break down like freezer. That's fact. Freezer, when it starts to break down, obviously it's really soft, isn't it? As soon as it defrosts.
Yeah, that's another. I want my bait to be more firm. I find shelf life, it does stay a lot more firmer for longer than traditional frozen would.
Yeah, I think when you use the frozen side of things,
So that wants to come in.
you're not in the water that much, that long with your frozen bait. You see, you're forever changing, aren't you?
That is, you're correct.
What's your opinion, Tricky?
I'm loving it. I'm buzzing off you boys. This is wicked. But I really don't think it matters nowadays. These fish, these carp, the way they're reared, it don't matter, frozen or shelf life. Obviously, it's down to individual personal preference, but I really don't think it matters anymore. It smells nice.
Do you think though, Ricky?
Nice. They're going to have.
Do you think that though, with shelf life and frozen, the frozen obviously you're bringing in your rod a lot more than you would do shelf life, or not?
Well, I always keep my baits off the bottom. I've learnt over the years within a matter of an hour or so, you bring it back in, instinct of a rotted lake bottom. So I always keep your baits off the bottom. So in that respect, I couldn't tell you, but the quality of baits now that are in the shops, it really don't matter now. I don't think whether it's frozen or shelf life. It's personal preference, ain't it?
Yeah, fair comment.
That is a very fair comment. Thank you for coming up again. It's nice to know
you. Love you boys. You're doing an absolute brilliant job. I love this.
Right, no worries.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Beat up the boots again.
Yeah, man.
Right, who else has been talking? Posh, would you like to come up? I see you getting involved here. Will, I see you. If you guys want to come up, the Joker, I see you talking. If you want to come up and give your insight on it, come up and do it. Just let us know, and we'll get you in the box.
Yeah, if any of you have got your own bait company and you want to come up and say your opinion, you're more than welcome. Anybody's welcome. It's don't be afraid to come up. But for you people who have just came in, much appreciated for joining, and welcome.
Yeah, you're on our second segment. You've just missed our first one. We were talking about the pros and cons with goos and liquids. But yeah, if no one would want to come up, I believe we can move on.
For you people who have just came in, has any of you got a question about what we've got here about frozen boilers or shelf life?
You don't have to come up. You can we'll try and answer the question in a comment if you wish. If not, we'll give it to 2030. Yeah. that'll take us up to that, what we need, yeah?
Yeah. But yeah, my thoughts, they're just as good, but I just prefer shelf life because it lasts a lot longer in water. That is what I've seen with my own eyes, and that's what I believe.
Only
Yes.
Stu,
Yeah, Wayne.
there's another Norfolk.
yes, I'll agree with that. This is one of the reasons why I don't use freezer baits anymore, just for the sheer fact of my freezer's for my food. And I don't want to end up having to get another freezer just to put freezer baits in it. There's no point in it.
We have Southwest Carter as well, wanting to come up and give his opinion, so I'll give you an invite.
More than welcome.
You brought him up?
I've now sent an invite.
Oh, sorry, Catherine. Wrong one, Catherine, sorry.
Evening, Mick.
Evening, guys.
Evening, Nick.
Southwest, welcome.
Hi, mate.
So what's your opinion on the topic?
Well, I don't know who it was that joined that said that there wasn't really much difference, but I didn't get his name, so I was just sorting my little ones out. But yeah, I agree, to be honest. Like, Frozen's got a slightly, years ago, like the preservative egg was a lot different, and it wasn't as good. But now with monopropylene, you can put a lot more into shelf life bait. And as for how soft they are, I mean, that's just down to drying. I mean, you stick them in a sealed room with a dehumidifier and you can dry whatever you want out of them. You could leave them in there and dry them to a rock hard hook, mate. But yeah, there isn't a great deal of difference now. And it's the same for me because a lot of my fishing is spur at the moment. I can't really plan mine. So you get a frozen bait out the freezer, you thaw it out, and then if you don't end up going, you've got to refreeze that again, which isn't ideal. So yeah, shelf life is the winner, really, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I'd say indeed, shelf life is the one.
Fair comment again.
It is a very valid comment. Thank you for coming in.
That's right, guys. Yeah. I'll jump back off because I've got to sort my kids out. But yeah, I thought I'd come in.
Thank you for coming up.
But I'll be listening in anyway.
Thank you.
Cheers, fella.
All right.
Stu, I know you're quite a local angler to me. I know a few of the waters you fish. Do you want to come up and give your say? Give him a couple of seconds to reply.
Yeah, I do find with the shelf life, they last on your hook a lot longer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about, like thermos and that. So like a shelf life compared to a frozen, I feel like a frozen will break down a lot quicker than what a shelf life will do. I use shelf life more due to the preference of the water I fish, because I want to know that bait's going to be on there 24 hours later.
Yeah.
So why do you think then they always air dry these frozen baits out then?
Do you know what? I don't really have a...
Is that for the reason to make them a bit harder, or I don't really know, to be honest with you.
I don't know. See, I used to take mine out of the freezer the day I was going, and obviously travel to the lake, and then I'd check them. The moment, as soon as they start going soft, or I can get a needle through them, I'll start using them. Just for the simple sheer reason is, I like them to break down as quick as possible, just so they ain't sitting on the bottom of the lake bed as quick.
Mr. Tricky wants to come back in.
I don't think you can beat fresh baits for their attractiveness, freshly rolled and delivered like ABS.
Welcome back.
Just a quick
Tricky.
way.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned air drying them.
Yeah.
It just extends the shelf life.
Ah.
Removes all the excess moisture and that. It just extends the shelf life off and makes them last longer without spoiling.
Oh, what? And that's for frozen baits?
When you air dry them, yeah. When you air dry them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So effectively, you might as well just buy shelf life.
Well, frozen
really
firms them up, makes them more solid.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
With nuisance fish with rock hard baits, you don't get nuisance fish taking them, do you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I never knew that. No, yeah, that's much
Definitely.
appreciated. It's always good to come in and say what's what.
You don't mind me popping in, and you don't mind me keeping.
No, you're fine doing it. It's all good.
No.
Tonight, everyone's
Whatever you
welcome.
like, mate.
That's what we're here for. On things like this, when we've got a guest in, we don't have people coming up. But on times like this, where we're doing basically a waffle podcast about different things that people do have debates about, so we like to let one up at a time and come and have their say about. Instead of getting into a big massive debate, it's easier like this. Come up if you've got a question, ask it.
Yeah. The air drying came around with the throwing stick era because with sometimes baits we get off the shelf, they fall apart where they spin so fast they just disintegrate.
Yeah.
The dried boilie won't. It'll go out for miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
So that's a good shout, actually.
It is. Right. Cod, I see you know a bit. I know you made bait and that. Do you want to come up and give your view on this?
Right, Tricky, we're going to drop you and let somebody else come up, yeah?
Yep.
Cheers, fella. Thank you.
I know you like to have a little waffle, so I'll give you an invite and you can give your opinion on it. I'm not too sure if he's still here, but I use Miller Shelf Life and have found one of the best SL baits, very digestible. And there you go.
No, I think Cod's gone.
I think he has as well. Are we ready to move on to next segment, or anyone else got some questions?
It's quite a good topic, this one. So this one, what we're doing at the moment.
What, these frozen and shelf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen, what's that? Frozen, good to dry out. Dehydrates with the liquid for fishing on the seal.
No joke with that. Yeah, Posh, I can see that. Yeah, the liquids and are now then they're soaking up the liquids. Yeah, I get that. It's a good show. Again, I think it's one of those things where there's no really pro or con to it, really. Like, obviously, shelf life has the pro of it'll last a lot longer. Frozen, once you've unfroze it and dried it out, you've only got so long for you to use it. Quote unquote, that's what's recommended. But yeah, in my opinion, it's shelf life for the win. It just lasts a lot longer.
Yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it?
Same as that, shelf life.
I reckon with
Anyone else
frozen, you'll end up possibly, either putting them all in or they're going to go mouldy, aren't they?
They are indeed.
So yeah.
But yeah, shelf life, it don't wash out as quick in the rivers. That's Barbel Fishman talking. That's Jay, Barbel Obsession. So he's saying shelf life lasts a lot longer in the river because it doesn't wash out. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
It's about the river situation, obviously, because it's a constant flowing water.
Yeah.
It's a good shout. Camo, if you want to come up and ask it, mate, you're more than welcome to come up.
Oh, it's a different question. It's got to be related to this, though.
It has to be related to the segment. It's not. We'll move on. I believe that. Yeah, we're moving quite good at the moment.
Yeah.
Not related today. Probably leave that for another time. I believe. Move on, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we go. Go to bait and why.
Oh. And to be honest, mine would be, again, if it's the bait company I'm with, then it'd have to be the Tiger Nut and Peanut. Only for the sheer fact is all weather, all year round bait. It doesn't matter whether it's colder weathers, warmer weathers. And if it weren't with a bait company, like, it'd have to be a mainline. Whether they still do it, it would have to be the hybrid, the mainline hybrid they did. Again, it's an all year rounder, and it never failed me.
Yeah, that is a valid. Yeah. See, me personally, I was a big fan of krill for a long, long time. It spoke for itself, really. It is a top quality bait. No matter how many times the recipe has changed, it's still been one of the best baits on the market, in my opinion. But recently, I've now moved over to mainline ISO fish. I just believe it's just, yeah. Since I've been using it, my catch rate has skyrocketed.
Me personally, myself.
Yeah,
Most
and also Cell's been up there with me with that. What about you, Eric?
Well, no, I'm a sticky krill man. Yeah, I just like the smell of it and the quality of it, and it's a good catch bait for me. I also use Essential IB because of the new water that I'm on, and it was recommended to use there. I've tried it a couple of times, and I've lost a couple on it, but that's probably just down to me with the lily pads in there and that. But yeah, all round, very good baits myself, personally.
Yeah.
And I use, also I use a very good high leakage bait. Actually, Keep It Real put me onto that. Actually, very good high leakage bait. Wafters and that, very good bait. Caught a lot of fish on that as well.
Can you remember the name of them, Eric? I can if you need help on that.
Mulberry.
Unless it's a secret bait.
But it wasn't. I can't even remember the manufacturer. Sorry.
Discharge, I believe they were called.
Discharge, correct. Yes.
I can remember.
Keep It Real put me onto them, and yeah, thank you very much for that. It was very good bait, very, very good indeed.
I remember fishing you last year down on my local club lake, and you actually pulled some of that, the black snare, I believe it was, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
And yeah, they were a
very good.
very good bait. They were. We tested one out, and I believe it was leaking for a good 12 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
And I tell you what, going back to one that you said, the sticky krill.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't even really bring that into any equation, because that's just
a bait on its
that's
own.
just a special bait, and it's.
Yeah.
I've got another question for you then, as we're on the bait topic here, go-to baits and live. What was a bait that you wish came back? You know, like, is there a bait that was about back in the days and it's not been back?
Yes, there is actually. Yeah, I believe it was mainline. Squid and octopus, and I used to use 10 mil. Now I caught my PB on that.
Yeah.
Many years ago. I was at a place. You probably know it quite well anyway.
Go on.
And I was on Broadwing, yeah.
Yeah.
And because I was a member, obviously there, so yeah, because members were tricky. You get on this particular lake called Broadwing. So anyway, I got on there, and yeah, I just done a pub tuck out while I was setting up. Within half an hour, that rod just screamed off me. A single hook bait, and that was a £33 common.
See, if it was me, I'd have to say original Scopex. There's nothing been like it. To me, that, as we look at krill now, you know how krill was up there by itself,
Yeah.
In my opinion, with my personal preference, that's what original Scopex was. That was, you know, everyone used it, everyone wanted it, everyone was shout about it.
So we've got a few here saying, krill, crab and krill, next to krill, solar squid and octopus, red robin, mix, and solar winter secrets were amazing. Richworth tooty as well. Dynamite, green lip mussel.
Amazing bait.
Any of you guys, if any of you guys would like to come up and, you know, tell us your favourite bait and bait you wish they brought back.
See, the one I wish they brought back It would have to be the Nash Tandoori Spice.
Oh, old bait, yeah.
Old school
Yours.
bait, but it ripped waters apart.
Who used to do the whiskey then? The whiskey boilie. Remember that?
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Aniseed.
Aniseed.
Yeah,
Well, let's
yeah.
just not go there with Aniseed.
Yeah.
Nash Craig, yeah, that's it, Craig.
Aniseed was amazing.
Here's a guy in this
Whiskey,
bait
yeah,
as well. Craig, would you like to come up and tell us your go-to bait and a bait you wish they brought back? Just give us a yes or nah, and then we'll get you up if not.
Yeah, they did ban it, yeah.
Right, I'll send you an invite, Craig.
Solar top banana. Oh, okay. I've never heard of that one. Even
Welcome
Craig.
in, Craig.
Hello.
If you could just, let the viewers know, what you do and who you are, that'd be great.
What's that for? Sorry.
This is for the podcast, isn't it? So the ones on YouTube can know who's talking and that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So, but
Go on, mate. Say that.
you're a sticky, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Sticky and Gardner. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you've been. How long have you been with them? 10 years, is it?
Probably, yeah, it's coming up around that time, mate. But when I joined Sticky and Gardner, yeah, it's been quite a while.
So, what would you say is, the go-to bait right now, and then a bait you wish they brought back? It could be any company.
So the go-to bait would be, as you've already said, the sticky bait krill.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of obviously Manila as well, but the bait that I'd like, well, no, it's not that I'd like it back, but the bait that I used to love back in the day was solar top banana.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was a really, really good bait. Used that a lot when I was younger. And to be fair, when I was a kid, I used to use a lot of the Nash whiskey.
Yeah, there's a lot of brands coming out now bringing that whiskey back. I feel like it's gonna be a few people getting on the market with that.
The Nash whiskey was the one, yeah, 100%.
But no, obviously I've got to stay loyal. Not because of anything other, but yeah, the krill and the Manila is I feel lost if I haven't got it, to be fair.
Yeah, I 100% agree with the krill. Manila, I never used it. Because when they were bringing that out, I was getting into the company I'm with now. But the krill, that's one bait I did get to use, and that was just, that's something special.
And even fish meals in the winter, a lot of people shy off them, and they'll say, "Oh, we'll change more to a milky protein bait or a nutty bait." But to be honest with you, that krill, I use that all year through. I don't really ever change now. And yeah, catch a lot of fish on the krill in the winter, in the colder months, because it is so easily digestible. Obviously, I don't use as much of it, but it certainly still works.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I believe when it comes to, when people are saying fish meal or the more milk protein baits, I think it just goes down to preference. But yeah, I'm a big believer in using fish meal.
Preference, confidence.
Yeah. But I'll agree, I use fish meal all year round, and I wouldn't change it. There's some baits out there that just do very well all year round.
There are other fish meal baits on the market though that do that aren't as good, but then that's just purely because of maybe the amount of fish. I don't know. It's just a really soluble bait, and they just seem to still love to eat it. I mean, my session on the water park just before Christmas, or was it just after Christmas? I had 9 fish in 24 hours, and I got through 5 kilo of the krill, on a winter session, and they were absolutely passing out of them. They were digesting it so quick.
Yeah, I'll agree with
For a
that.
winter session, that's actually really good.
But yeah, I'll
Yeah,
let you boys crack on. Sorry, I just I just popped up in a comment.
that's all right, Craig.
Nice.
Thank you
It's
for coming
always
up.
good to get you up, mate. It's always good for your opinion.
Appreciate that, Craig, mate.
I'd stick around. There'll be an
No
interesting
worries,
topic
boys. See you
coming
later.
up. Right,
Cheers,
Cheers,
thank
mate.
you.
just jumping in.
See you later.
I think we have someone else trying to get in to give their opinion.
Mr. Ricky.
Ricky, I'll now bring you in.
Welcome back, fella.
You all right, boys?
Welcome.
You know what I honestly wholeheartedly believe? If a company could get the proper concentrate from bloodworm, and if we was willing to pay the money, there wouldn't be a bait out there to ever beat it.
Yeah.
Because they just wouldn't be able to sell it for the usual price of the boilers that we pay. If they was to get proper concentrate bloodworm, they'd smash it. But it would be, you're looking at 20 quid a kilo, if not more. Obviously, through experience, I used to buy the frozen block, and the waters that it just absolutely annihilated. It was just unreal. And then all of a sudden now it's 20 quid, 25 quid a kilo of a bloodworm. So I just don't think, as much respect as I've got for Sticky, they're just not been able to get it right, because they would never be able to sell it at the price they're selling it.
Yeah,
Because
you
of how
could talk.
expensive it is.
It would be a very expensive bait, to say the least. You ain't talking say 12, 13 pound a kilo. You're talking.
25, 30 pounds.
Plus,
Yeah.
easy. So
I reckon you're looking more £35, if anything. I reckon on a kilo of just pure bloodworm concentrate.
Yeah, the thing is how many lakes have got natural bloodworm beds. To be fair, for a proper bloodworm like that, I probably would, yeah, because I've used so many different bloodworms throughout the years from different companies. Now I use a bloodworm now, and I'm very confident I could probably go to any lake or most lakes and catch with that bloodworm.
I remember you saying that the other night. Bold statement that way.
Mate, it is, yeah, it is. But because I've used so many different companies in the past,
Yeah,
to try and find that, because everybody knows a lot of these lakes today, they have bloodworm beds in them.
of course.
So the fish are naturally feeding off that bloodworm. So if you can find something that replicates that taste and smell of that original bloodworm,
Yeah,
it's your quid's in. You're gonna smash it.
They need to go and source some of these sous chefs from these top restaurants in London, because they'll be able to source it. They'll be able to get the ingredients together.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But yeah, thought I'd share that.
No, you're more than welcome. Everyone's welcome to come up.
Yeah.
Question could have a good opinion on somebody else, so it's always nice to people.
They're all valid, aren't they? They're all valid questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant.
Whoever's gifted me as well, thank you. Whoever's gifted me.
I'll drop you back out. Much appreciated for coming back up, Tricky.
Down, boys.
Right, I believe we're
Cheers,
ready.
fella.
If no one's got anything else to add on to that, we can move on.
Yeah, anybody else got anything to say on this topic?
Okay, so
let's move on to the next one then.
Right. Known versus unknown bait companies. This is a big one here.
let's not get nasty over it, those people, please.
Nah, yeah, definitely not. Don't
opinions, only opinions.
Yeah, we're not in here for you to come in and rip other companies apart or anything like that. It's just preference for yous, For me, personally, I don't think I'd ever leave the bait company I'm with.
Name personally, the bait company, it's fine. If you want to name them, that's fine.
Name your company.
I'd never leave Fishing Baits. I've been with Fishing Baits now for 3 years, a little bit longer than 3 years. and my catch rate has just been immense. I've caught fish I only ever dreamed of fishing. I watched on TV Jeremy Wade catching them, you know. Yeah. And when I'm catching fish like that, I'm confident in the bait, very confident in the bait. And I've never caught fish like that on other companies. That's...
Yeah, I've used fishing baits. I use the peanut on there. Very good bait. I used it for quite a while. Very good. But I've always used sticky krill. That's always been my bait.
In my opinion, I've tried, you know, the unknown bait companies and the main companies. I stay with the main companies because, you know, it's trialed and tested. You can trust it. You know, I'm not saying the unknown bait companies aren't trialed and tested, but you know, you've got more. You seem to have a bit more belief in using a well-known company. You know, that's proved it time and time again that bait works.
Yeah.
Whereas with these, like say, like a more of an upcoming unknown company, it just varies on like where they've tested it, how many people are using it, and who isn't using it or who is using it.
Yeah.
And then again, it's preference, really.
Yeah, see, when I'm with fishing baits, if I've got a bait I want them to make, I'll ask him to make it, and the majority of times, it will be the same smell, everything. Obviously, the texture will be a bit different because it probably uses a little bit of the same ingredients, but from a different place. You know, or something like that.
Camo's got a few things to say, Wayne.
Camo,
yeah, Camo, do you want to come back up?
I'm just going for a wee voice. Sorry.
Evening again, people.
Evening.
Yeah, I just wanted to like say a few things about smaller companies or unknown companies versus bigger companies. It probably cross over with what Wayne said, but like I've used big companies and they do a various amount of products and they're good quality, but I've been with Fish at Baits like Wayne, I think coming up to about 3 years this year. And the amount of products they do for a small company, I think is just as good as the bigger companies. They do mists, they do bait sprays, they do your spod syrups, your glugs, bait enhancements, they do your method powders, they do the different sizes of boilies, they even do stuff that other big companies don't do, like they do the grubs, which are a game changer. They do the fake sweet corn, which I think, I haven't used it yet, but from other people's use of it is probably as good as other companies out there. Yeah. And obviously Chris will do custom baits for you as well, like in certain sizes and flavours, and it's not overly extortionately priced for what it is. And the breakdown on all of the baits is incredibly good. I mean, I've bought big name stuff and it's been rock hard. The stuff that Fish at Baits do doesn't fall off, it doesn't break down too quick, it doesn't fly off, you know, like for what they do, I think is just incredible, do you know? If anybody's got anything else to say, like, about
that. Thank you for that, Camo. I think, Dean, would you like to come up and give your opinion on this?
Cheers, Camo.
Yeah, I'll jump down.
Right, thank you.
I'll remove it, Camo, yeah. Oh, you've done it.
I'll give him an invite and let's see what Dean says.
Yeah, with what Camo said, I will have to agree. But there is a few other companies out there, like when I used to use mainline Banoffee. Now, I had a really good spout on them, and I've done very well on them. And the down time on them was a decent breakdown time. They weren't too hard, they weren't too soft. where, like with Nash, I used a few different ones of theirs, but I just found that they broke down too fast and they were way too soft.
No worries, Dean. But yeah, I just think when it comes to known and unknown bait companies, a lot of it's to do with preference. I can see the positives and I can see the positives on both sides. I imagine with your kind of unknown bait company or smaller company, you're more interactive with the supplier.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like Mick just said there, he's just got some from Carp Cribs. Obviously, going to give them a try and see what they're like. He could end up having some incredible sessions on them.
Yeah, sure, Southwest.
Oh.
I'll get you in quick. Well, I'll get you in after South.
Right, guys.
Welcome back.
Yeah, as I was just saying in the comments, I think a lot of it with the well-known companies is like establishment, like mainline, like without, like you say, without criticizing or anything. You know, if you break open a mainline boilie like the cell, there's not like a massive amount of ingredients in there, but loads of people use the cell, so you know a lot of the fish see it in loads of different lakes. So you know they're gonna stick to what they know. When you get certain complexes like down where I live in Wiltshire, I've got like Tobler Manor and Cokin, and they're like CC more dominated. You know, like you wouldn't go to. I mean, I learned that lesson myself. I went to one of Cokin's best lakes in Meadow, and I went against the grain and took a different bait, and I blanked. Whereas, I think it was a CC Moore Pacific tuna was the one that works there. But like the others were saying, there's smaller companies out there that also make bait that's like awesome quality. I use a company called Use It Bait Innovations at the moment, and most people would be like, "Hey, who are they?" But, you know, you go on the website, you see all the bait, they do a custom range, and yeah, I'm using the bubble gum, which is an all year round bait, and it's done me a lot of fish. But I could go down a tackle shop and buy like CC Moore's latest bait, and I'd no doubt go and catch fish in there. I think carp will eat anything. Like carp will eat all bait, but there's certain baits that have got that additional edge. And yeah, I do believe a lot of it goes on in popularity, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very valid point there. You know, and I agree with you when you say, like, you know, with the known baits, the lake's seeing it a lot more than what, you know, a smaller company's bait would. So the fish are getting used to eating, say like cell. You know, they're seeing a lot more cell than what they would, like, say, another branded company that's a lot smaller as bait. So
Yeah, totally agree.
I mean, it's like us, if there's a certain meal that we like eating all the time with a certain brand, but all of a sudden one night, the missus comes home and says, "Oh, look, I went and bought it from here tonight. Like, do you fancy trying it, or should we have what we normally have?" You're going to be like, to be honest, I'd rather just stick to what I know. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion, but yeah.
No, yeah, it's right in what you say, because I've gone to One Water. It's not far from where I live. And a lot of people use sticky manila.
Yeah.
So I've been down there. I've used other baits. I know people that have been down there, used other baits. They ain't done very well. Now, when some of them have used manila, they've started catching. Or something that's close to the flavour, they started catching. So I understand what you mean by that. About there is a lot of venues out there where, i.e. the sow boilie, a lot of venues get hammered by it. So the fish are used to that certain thing.
I can understand what Tricky's saying about that he goes against the grain, but I mean that's what I tried to do, but I didn't catch that time. And when I went back to Meadow the next time, I took it with me and I caught. Like I say, I normally do try to do different, but I think there are just some waters where you got to bite the bullet and take them with you.
We have indeed. Right, so thank you for that, Sarah.
Yeah, all right, guys. Yeah, cheers for that.
People coming up. Stick around.
Yeah, I will be. I'll be in there.
Coming in.
Right, speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Who's this coming up? We've got Will wanting to come up.
Back again.
Alright.
My take on it is I've over the years, obviously, I've used all the mainline baits, the sticky, and if I'm honest, I mean, I use carp cribs at the moment, and I'm still catching the same size fish and the same quantity as fish as I would when I was fishing with mainline or sticky or CC more. It's, to me, I prefer, I'm a business owner myself, I prefer to support the smaller people rather than the big.
Yeah, I can see your view and point in that, yeah.
I know a lot of people on here obviously said what I'm saying already, but yeah, I mean, it's carp tax, if you like, on the bigger companies. They know they can charge what they want, so they charge it.
Yeah.
Whereas you can get the likes of carp cribs or fish it baits, and all the other smaller ones that will personally make it and sell it for smaller profit margin because they want it to be nice and good, rather than they're working on repeat business rather than just throwing it out to every Tom, Dick and Harry who's just got a name on it.
Yeah, it's like what you say there. With a lot of these small companies as well, people think they'll scrimp and scrape on the ingredients they use, but they don't. They actually go out and buy the decent ingredients. Like Carp Cribs, Fish It Baits and other companies out there, they will spend the money on the ingredients.
Because they want repeat work.
Yeah.
It's the same as my business. I own a building company. I don't charge as the cheapest. I say that to every customer. But you get what you pay for. If you want me to spend a lot of time and make it perfect, you pay the money for it. Because I want them to come back to me. I could easily run around jobs for that £300-400, throw it in, get on to the next one, and never hear from them again. A lot of my customers, I charge them a good price for good work, and they always bring me back. And bait companies, if you use a premium quality bait, and you interact with your client, and that's another thing with me. If a tackle company or a bait company interact with me, message you back, talk to you. You know how many times I've tagged in CC Moore or Sticky, I mean, just to name a couple, and I've never even got a like or a message going, well done, mate. Whereas carp cribs, I'll send a picture in or I'll tag them in, and before I've got Mark messaging me going, well done, mate, what was that, how did you catch that on, where did you do that from? Plastering it all over his social media, changing his internet, his website and putting me on it. Do you know what I mean?
Just feedback is what they want, isn't it? And they appreciate the feedback.
Personal touch.
Yep.
Yeah, you are right what you're saying.
It's the same with everything I do, whatever I buy, in fishing or not. If I get that personal touch, I'll always go back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I know now, just through talking with people like Carp Cribs and stuff like that, if I had an issue, if I worked with Fish It Baits and I had an issue and I got in touch with him, I know for a fact he'd reach back out to me.
Of course. You do that with...
it's the same...
Or mainline, then you can be like, yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, I do the same with my own bait company. If I reached out to him, he's busy, but he'll always take his time in messaging me back. And I've spoke to Carp Cribs a lot, and he's always been there. If I messaged him now, he'd message me back.
Yeah, 100%. I've messaged him so many times. You put it this way, right? You go into your local curry house, and Mr. Wayne, you want a beer? Yeah, nice curry, you're happy. You go to another one, and they just go, yeah, sit down there, mate, and give you your food and then do you off. Which one are you going to go back to?
You're going to go back to the one that's
been interacting
hospitality more, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is what I feel about the bait companies and the tackle companies. I mean, that's my personal opinion, but I prefer personal touch and interaction with company rather than just throwing it out just to try and get your money. Don't get me wrong, I still spend £2 on a lead from Corda, but you know.
That's another topic, that one, actually.
Yeah, you'll like that one. Stay around.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for coming in again, Will. If anyone else wants to come in, someone new maybe, want to give their thoughts on known and unknown bait companies, you're welcome to.
Yeah.
And if any of you...
We love the trolls, Ricky.
I'll jump up.
We love the trolls, don't worry.
Yeah,
We
I
love to
think
cuddle them.
like, if any of you want to try any of these small bake
Evening,
companies,
Lee.
like the one Will's with,
I
Cat Cribs,
will also
give them a try. Fish it baits, give them a try. It's,
the podcast will be getting uploaded on YouTube tomorrow. The company's mentioned. There will be a link in the YouTube description, so keep an eye out for that, and you can just go from there and see from there.
Popeye, do you want to drop in the one we was discussing about?
Oh, we can indeed. So this is
Probably
more of like
mad.
this is a quick fire segment. This is the last topic we will talk about, and it's a good one. There's a lot of mixed controversial opinions. There's a lot of controversial opinions on it.
Very.
Very, yeah.
Yeah. Drop your legs, yes or no?
God.
Drop your legs, yes or no?
I'll just go straight in there first. For me personally, no, unless I had to. No, for the simple fact is it's just all that lead line across the bottom. It's a big thing for me. And not just that, the more lead you drop, yeah, you can pick up leads cheap, but I live every day hand to mouth, you know, I take every day as it comes. So I don't really want to be having to go out and buy leads all the time, because I haven't got time to go out and buy them all the time.
Me, I don't.
So, go on, Wayne. Eric?
I don't drop no leads, no. So tell a lie, I have dropped a couple before, where it's been very, very weedy. The need had to be to drop them, so yeah, that was the only reason.
So, my opinion on this is I'll never drop a lead. The only time I will is if I'm either fishing a snag or if it's, you know, deep weed. If it's a little bit of weed, I'm not too bothered with the lead staying
100%.
on. But I will not drop a lead if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Ricky, do you want to come in, do you? Here you go. Welcome back, mate.
So what's your opinion, Ricky, on dropping leads, yes or no?
No, never
And
drop
why?
me lead unless I have to on a snaggy water.
Yeah.
Never drop me lead. Plus the rig I use, a semi-fixed running rig, my leader comes all the way through where my lead ends up about 3 foot off the rig anyway, so the cart can't even use the lead to shape the hook. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
With me leader that I used, I leave a little tag end on it. So when the leader gets pulled through the lead clip, the tag end flips over and the lead can't get back down.
I've seen that, yeah.
But I'll
You've
never
done
drop
a
me
video
lead
on that,
otherwise.
Ricky.
Sorry?
Did you do a video on that, Ricky, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I did, and got a rip to new
Yeah, I
one
did
by the
see
way
it,
nuts. But
Yeah.
I'll have to go and have a look at that.
Yeah, have a butchers of it. I'll tag this thingamajig, this podcast into it so you can get it straight up. I think it's because it's a few videos down. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Unless it's snaggy water, I won't drop my lead, but I won't drop it anyway because of how I can keep the lead on the line and it not affect the fish, me losing it, etc. And even if I crack off, it still pulls through. It doesn't even have the lead clip on if I end up cracking off through a snag or the cast. Everything comes off. All right, boys. Cheers.
Right, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers, Ricky.
Lee, do you want to come up? I know you're very big into this, so if you want to come up and give your opinion on it. I don't think I can. Oh, no, it's not coming up.
Oh, he's banned.
Ah! Anyone else want to give their opinion on it? Yeah, my opinion, I'm not dropping a lead unless I have to. If I'm fishing snags, then I will. It's got to be deep weed for me to drop a lead. I'm not dropping it if I don't need to. End of story.
So Lee, if you can't come up, would you drop a lead, yes or no, and why?
He said no already.
Pardon?
He said no. He said it's not the, he doesn't think it's the lead to blame. Your worst enemy is your line, not your lead.
Okay.
But yeah.
Is it your line?
Anyone else want to come up? Doesn't matter on what your opinions are. It's all welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also noticed that
content
we're close
dropping.
to. I've noticed that we're close to 30k likes as well. So if you guys want mind making sure to tap the screen.
You're being con into dropping leads. It's all
About
about the
the
money.
money.
I'll agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I've got a big 40, 50 pounder on me rod, I've never caught that big of a carp, and I don't really want it to use the lead to unhook itself. But I've never really had that happen, and I've had some big fish, whether it's been sturgeon, my biggest carps in the 30s. I've never had that problem. So me personally, I'd rather not drop the lead. Same as that, Mick. I drop.
Yeah.
Keep it real. I use inlines myself more than anything.
Yeah, you do actually. Yeah.
But yeah, I think when it comes to dropping leads, I think it is a big market scheme. I think it's, when you've got all these big companies, even just lead companies in general, they want you to drop the lead. So, they know that you're hooked into buying the next lead off them or.
Yeah, it's all about the money. That's right. It really is.
And for you people that do use inlines, just have a look back on what Mick just said about if he does snap off, that lead can still come off. That if you're using any kind of lead or anything like that, always make sure your lead can come off easy. Like with me, I'll pull mine back away from the swivel a little bit just to pinch it on, just so that lead can slide up a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. If no one's got anything else to add.
Does anyone want to come up? Anyone got any questions? No lead should ever be fixed to your line. Yeah, I totally agree. As long as your lead can run or come off if you get snagged, then yeah, totally agree. It's some people, they like dropping the leads, and they have their reasons. A lot of people out there don't like dropping them. They have their reasons, and a lot of the reasons to do with money and stuff like that. It's a lot of money if you keep dropping them and you have to go and buy them all the time. Doesn't matter if you get them even 50p a lead, 2 leads. That's £1.
For another live cam.
Add it up.
Yeah. We'll keep that for something else, Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Thank you all for coming out anyway and spending an hour with us.
Camo's got a question. I have a question, but it's not about leads. It's what I suggested to you, Pop Lion.
Yeah, that'll do for another one. It doesn't, suit with a
So get on the what?
segment tonight.
It's something to talk about something else. They're only talking about what's here, Camo, really, mate, to be honest with you. Otherwise, the next segment or topics.
Yeah, kind of go out the window. But yeah, I do think that's pretty much it. I'd like to say thank you for all those that came out tonight and spent an hour on how long have we been live for?
Just over an hour.
Hour and 26 minutes. So I appreciate the ones coming out and spending a bit of time with us. Our next live will be an interesting one. I can assure you on that. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Appreciate.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for everybody. And next podcast, same time, Sundays.
Sunday.
Hope to see you all there. It'd be very much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you all for coming out. And see you later.
Thank you very much, everybody.